Picture the night sky over the Middle East. It is tearing at the seams. For 96 straight hours, the horizon has been painted in the violent, blinding flashes of American and Israeli ordnance. Radar screens across the region are a chaotic blizzard of incoming trajectories, while ground-shaking detonations reduce command centers and hidden missile silos to ash. Yet, amidst this unprecedented inferno, the most dangerous coordinates on the planet remain covered in an eerie, inexplicable silence. A ghost town in the middle of a war zone. I am talking about Isfahan. Deep inside a mountain just south of Tehran lies the undeniable crown jewel of Iran's atomic empire. A subterranean labyrinth believed to hold enough near-weapons-grade uranium to forge up to 10 nuclear warheads. 10. Let that sink in. While Allied forces systematically obliterate the country's air defenses, the one target that could literally bring about the apocalypse hasn't been touched by a single piece of shrapnel. Why? Is Washington afraid? Is there a backdoor deal we aren't being told about? Or is this the calm before the most catastrophic military strike in modern history? Just last week, Rafael Grossi and the IAEA dropped a bombshell report that sent chills through the Pentagon. The uranium is there. The centrifuges are there. And yet, seasoned former UN inspectors like Robert E. Kelly are looking at the satellite feeds in absolute disbelief, calling the survival of this compound amazing. It is the ultimate terrifying irony. The very bunker that triggered this war is currently the safest place in the Islamic Republic. But President Trump has drawn a massive red line in the sand, vowing that a nuclear-armed Tehran will never become a reality. We remember the blistering 12-day offensive last June. The precedent was set. So this hesitation is not just a tactical anomaly. It is a profound political mystery that is tearing Washington apart. Every second that passes is a second Tehran uses to push its assets deeper into the mountain, beyond the reach of our heaviest bunker busters. Before we dive into the chilling satellite imagery, the sudden blackout of intelligence, and Secretary of State Marco Rubio's ominous warning that the hardest hits are yet to come, you need to understand exactly what is at stake here. The clock is ticking toward midnight, and the global balance of power is hanging by a thread. If you want the unfiltered truth about what is really happening behind the fog of war, facts the mainstream media is too afraid to connect, hit that subscribe button, leave a like on this video, and let me know in the comments right now. Do you think the U.S. is hesitating or setting a trap? Let's get into it. Right now, in the shadow of a relentless bombing campaign, the most dangerous real estate in the Middle East remains eerily quiet. For 4 straight days, American and Israeli warplanes have pounded Iranian targets in a massive coordinated offensive. Yet the absolute crown jewel of Tehran's atomic ambitions, a critical nuclear site, has been completely untouched. The question is, why? We are talking about a heavily fortified compound just outside Isfahan, an ancient metropolis sitting south of the capital. According to a bombshell report dropped just last week by the IAEA, the UN's nuclear watchdog, this specific mountain tunnel complex is likely holding enough near-weapons-grade uranium to build up to 10 nuclear warheads. So why is the crosshair missing from Isfahan? Military strategists suspect this isn't an oversight. It's a calculated, methodical sequence. American and Israeli squadrons are blinding Tehran first. They are systematically dismantling the regime's air defense grids, flattening military command centers, and obliterating hidden stockpiles of ballistic missiles and drones. Robert E. Kelly, a seasoned former UN nuclear inspector, summed up the bizarre reality of this site surviving untouched in the middle of a war zone. Speaking about the Islamic Republic, he called the situation simply amazing. Ironically, the most high-value target is currently the safest bunker in the country. But do not let the quiet fool you. President Trump has drawn a massive red line in the sand, repeatedly vowing to guarantee that Tehran will never possess a nuclear trigger. And let's not forget the precedent set during that blistering 12-day offensive last June. Allied forces hammered the Isfahan facility, a hub historically designed to process uranium ore into the exact gas needed for nuclear enrichment. The calm is about to shatter. Secretary of State Marco Rubio delivered a chilling warning to the public this Monday. His exact words? The hardest hits are yet to come. Security analysts are looking at the strategic board and predicting that the next wave of precision strikes over the coming days and weeks is going to aim squarely at the heart of Iran's nuclear infrastructure. In his briefing, Rubio laid out the grim reality of Tehran's overarching strategy. They've been hoarding conventional firepower to act as an ultimate insurance policy for their atomic dreams. They are trying to stockpile so many drones and missiles that launching an attack on their nuclear program would guarantee apocalyptic retaliation. They want to build an impenetrable shield that renders the international community powerless against their nuclear ambitions. Washington insider David Albright, who heads the Institute for Science and International Security, is reading the tea leaves and betting heavily that Isfahan is about to get lit up. Albright noted that it would be baffling if Allied forces don't strike the site by next week. As he bluntly put it, if they fail to hit Isfahan, they completely lose the narrative that this campaign is physically stopping Iran from securing the bomb. Of course, in the high-stakes fog of war, there are other tactical theories circulating in Washington. One suggests that if you cave in the tunnels with bunker busters, you permanently bury the evidence, making it entirely impossible for the United States to ever track or account for where that radioactive material ended up. Another camp believes Washington is playing a dangerous game of diplomatic chicken, holding off on the ultimate strike in the hopes that the sheer threat of annihilation will force Tehran to surrender the uranium at a negotiating table to end the conflict. And let's be perfectly clear, the U.S. and Israel are not holding back elsewhere. Just this Sunday, massive payloads rained down on Natanz, the notorious hub for spinning uranium into reactor fuel or weapon cores. Albright's team analyzed the satellite footprint of the aftermath, and the results are devastating. The strikes completely caved in the entrances to Natanz's subterranean centrifuge caverns. But Isfahan is a different beast entirely. While its sprawling, open-air industrial surface facilities are sitting ducks for satellite surveillance and precision-guided munitions, the real threat is buried deep inside an adjacent mountain. We're talking about a heavily fortified subterranean maze with 3 known entry points, labeled by analysts as the north, middle, and south gates. What's happening inside those walls right now? Total blackout. Analysts have zero intelligence on the degree of internal damage, if any exists at all. IAEA Director General Rafael Grossi went on record Monday with a sobering assessment. His intelligence analysts judged that the vast majority of Iran's highly enriched stockpile is still sitting safely in those deep vaults beneath Isfahan, completely unscathed by the current strikes, just as it survived the onslaught last June. But here is where the escalation reaches a boiling point. Back in January, Albright's analysts caught something alarming on satellite. A massive spike in logistics traffic at Isfahan's northern gate, with heavy vehicle movement in and out. The terrifying conclusion? Acknowledging the unknowns, his team assessed it was highly plausible that Iran wasn't evacuating the mountain. They were stuffing more critical assets inside the vault. And there is one final chilling wildcard. Right before last June's 12-day war erupted, Tehran boldly announced the secret opening of a brand new uranium enrichment facility. The intelligence community's prevailing theory? It's buried somewhere deep inside that very same Isfahan mountain complex. Just last Friday, mere hours before the current bombs started falling, the UN admitted they are completely in the dark about the exact coordinates of this new black site, or whether it's already spinning centrifuges. Since Iran first declared this phantom facility last year, the UN notes with increasing concern that Tehran has stonewalled every single request for access. The clock is ticking, the mountain is locked, and the hardest hits are on the way. We are standing on the precipice of a geopolitical earthquake. The reality of Isfahan isn't just a tactical military puzzle. It is a defining moment for the survival of the Middle East and the credibility of Western deterrence. Think about the sheer gravity of this situation and the impossible choices sitting on the resolute desk. If Washington and Jerusalem order a decapitation strike on that mountain, using the heaviest bunker busters in their arsenal, they risk caving in the tunnels and permanently burying the evidence. We might never know if the radioactive material was destroyed, or if it survived, hidden in the dark, waiting to be salvaged. It is a blind spot that could haunt global security for a generation. But the alternative is infinitely worse. If Allied forces hesitate, if they leave Isfahan standing to preserve a negotiating chip, or out of fear of apocalyptic retaliation, they hand Tehran the ultimate victory. They validate the regime's overarching strategy, building an impenetrable conventional missile shield to protect a nuclear sword. So, where does this go? We are looking at 3 distinct, terrifying scenarios. Scenario 1. The hardest hits Rubio promised materialize in the next 48 hours. A massive, unprecedented barrage cracks the mountain wide open, dragging the world into an unpredictable, all-out regional war. Scenario 2. The U.S. plays a long, agonizing game of diplomatic chicken, holding the strike back in a desperate gamble to force Tehran to surrender its stockpiles. A gamble that could backfire fatally if that secret phantom enrichment site is already spinning centrifuges in the dark. Scenario 3. Tehran miscalculates, believing the U.S. restraint is weakness, and makes a final, desperate dash for weaponization before the bombs fall. The chessboard is set, but the pieces are moving in the dark. The IAEA is blind. The intelligence community is holding its breath. The mountain gates at Isfahan remain sealed, hiding secrets that could rewrite human history. The air defenses are down, the skies are wide open, and the world is waiting for the hammer to drop. The silence from Isfahan isn't peace. It is the terrifying quiet of a fuse burning down to its final millimeter. This situation is developing by the hour, and we are going to be tracking every single missile, every satellite leak, and every political maneuver right here on this channel. But I want to hear from you. What is your prediction? Will the U.S. and Israel pull the trigger and crack open the Isfahan mountain? Or is Washington walking into a catastrophic trap? Sound off in the comments section below. I read every single one. If you want to stay ahead of the curve on global politics and military strategy, you must hit that subscribe button, turn on the notification bell, and share this video with anyone who needs to know the truth. Stay sharp, stay informed, and I will see you in the next one.